Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here today with Manatee Tiger Bay. I am your president, Xavier Bailey. I will be moderating the program today. Today we have law enforcement, and we're going to do some updates, and each agency will be talking about what they've experienced in the last year, whether it was crime or the significant challenges they had to face with the hurricane. So it's going to be a very, very good program today. Do we have any of our any elected officials here today? Would you just stand for me and raise your hand? Councilman Kramer, how are you? You're representing Commissioner McCann. I should know that. That's my son. I'm sorry.
He wants to know if you're trying to get him fired.
Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Where's my flag? Just put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Do we have any veterans? Any veterans? If you have any veterans, would you please stand and be recognized? Please give them a round of applause. Thank you so much for your service. I'm going to request that you please check your phones and silence them as we get started with the program. The topic of today's program is law enforcement update, crime and public safety, school safety, community engagement, hurricane, and emergency preparation. Our speakers will be Chief Melanie Bevan from Bradenton Police Department, Sheriff Rick Wells, Manatee County Sheriff's Office, Chief William Tokager, Holmes Beach Police Department, and Chief Tyler with Palmetto Police Department. We will have question and answers. The bios are online because for time, we want to be able to allow them to have as much as time as possible, and they can introduce themselves. So we will go ahead and start with Chief William Tokager with Holmes Beach Police Department. Please give him a round of applause as he comes forward. You want me to time for you? You got about 8 minutes.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So I was asked by Xavier if I could talk about the hurricanes and how it impacted us. So I'm going to show you some videos. That is the Gulf coming into the Manatee Public Beach parking area. This is our roadways. Our entire island, not, Manatee County as a whole was hit, but our entire island was under 3 to 4 feet of water from one side to the other. It was like the perfect storm of the Gulf coming in one side and the bay coming in one side. This is the parking lot. That's actually the roadway of Gulf Drive, and those used to be out on the beach, all the playgrounds and stuff like that, and that was moved to Gulf Drive. So it was pretty intense. When we were hit by Helene, we expected to have the same surge as we had with Irma, and that stayed about 3 feet away from the police department. So we actually stayed on the island. Biggest mistake I made as a chief is having my officers stay during that storm. We were stuck there. We couldn't move. We were stuck in the agency, and we were watching the water rise. We had our vehicles lined up on the side of the police department. This was about 9 o'clock at night. By 10 o'clock, the word police was covered up with water. We had 28 inches of water that came into our police department, into the garage area. We lost 8 vehicles. Thankfully, Sheriff Wells was able to assist us and give us some cars temporarily until we could get some more in. We were doing rescues because people didn't heed the warnings of get off the island, evacuate as you're told to. So this is a fire that occurred, and this is actually a video of it. The house burned completely down. I called the fire chief and said, hey, we got a fully evolved fire. What do we do? And he says, let it burn. So we went out there and made sure that the family was out of the house. We actually had 2 people that were in the house, and we were able to get them to a neighbor So this is Panama City. Chief called me and said right before Milton, that he was going to have a team of 32 people to come down and help us police our area. So they were fully contained. It was like a parade of lights coming into our area. They set up their base camp right there in our city field. Total for the entire time of after Milton, before Milton, we had Bradenton that was helping us. We had Palmetto that was helping us. We had the sheriff that was helping us after Helene. But when Milton was coming, we needed more help because Manatee County was hit as a whole. So they couldn't just give me the manpower that they could do after Helene with the checkpoints. Words matter. We learned that you don't want to use the word checkpoint. Because when you use the word checkpoint, people think that curfew, because they say that curfew meant to them that they had to leave the island at 7 at night. So they started lining up at 4 in the afternoon to get off the island. So traffic was backed up till like 9 o'clock at night with people in line trying to leave the island. So we changed the wording to curfew or to checkpoint, and we had a checkpoint. We only allowed people to come back out onto the island that were residents after 7 o'clock at night. It matters what you say. People ask, why can't we get out on the island? It's because we had trees down, wires down. All of the roads looked like this. They had to be fixed. We had to clear things up before we could let people out. This is what Gulf Drive and Bradenton Beach looked like as we went down there to meet with the governor. It looked like you were in Michigan and the snow was pushed up. And you see that they're just now starting. At this time, they were just starting to clear. So those mountains of sand were like 10, 15 feet high. This is a neighborhood. I took this video because down at the end, you'll see something that was pretty nice. This is all people's belongings and the sand. So people had to take everything out of their homes and businesses. 90% of our single-story homes and businesses were impacted with 3 to 4 feet of water. So at the end, you see the flags that someone put in the mountain of sand. I thought that was pretty cool. This is a hotel room. Notice the refrigerator, the couch, and everything else. That's a 10-foot ceiling. When I walked in there, my head hit the fan, and I'm only 6 feet tall. There was, depending on where you were in there, there was 3 to 4 feet of sand that just pushed through. Mother Nature was truly strong. We had a need for food for employees. We had a need for food for workers, for the FP&L, and for all the people that were coming out and doing work, and for the residents that couldn't cook. So we were contacted by multiple different organizations. This one's Operation Barbecue. They came out and cooked for 7 days, hot food. This is a Louisiana group. They called me and said, hey, we'll be down on Monday and we can stay for 3 days and we can feed up to 400, 500 people. That's my guys getting their first hot meal. That's Hurricane Hank's local business opened up as soon as they were open for business. They opened up and fed the city employees, first responders, and fire people, and then they gave it away to residents and other people when they were done. That's Guy Fieri. He came out with a truck. He's got this huge trailer, and he set up and he cooked food for all the first responders and for residents. He made this trailer just to help out first responders for hurricanes and any need that we have, any mass event that we have. He's willing to bring his people out there. So when you talk about your food, you have to look at it and you have to see, when do we stop giving away free food? Well, we determined that we would stop when the businesses started opening up. So when they started opening up, we stopped giving away free food because we wanted the people to go to the businesses and actually, partake and help them to recover their losses. Holmes Beach is recovering. The whole island is recovering. We were hit very hard with 3 storms, 2 that were truly devastating to us. But we're coming back strong. We're island strong, and we're back in business. The businesses are open. Vacation rentals are open. So, come out and visit the restaurants and enjoy yourself. And I'm sure we'll be taking questions after this.
Thank you, Chief Tokajer, for that presentation. And I think that's a shorter part of the video that he put up. And there's other parts of that video that you're just thankful that we were able to come together as a community. And the police departments don't just arrest people, and I think this was very important. I said, can you talk about that today? Because even though he's on the beach, they think he has the easy job. But he's out there with the water, and anything else that happens, he actually had to do outside of what people actually think in their minds the police department is doing. So thank you for all you did. We appreciate it. Next, we will have Chief Tyler with Palmetto Police Department. He's going to give an update. Please give him a round of applause as he comes forward.
Good afternoon, and thanks, everybody. It's a pleasure to be out here speaking to you. Always enjoy coming out to Tiger Bay and speaking on a wide variety of topics. So a little bit about, 2024 was quite a year, wasn't it? And I really have to say the city of Palmetto, certainly we had some pretty severe storm impacts from both Helene and Milton. I think that we fared pretty well. Most of our storm impacts were in our mobile home parks. Well, first of all, Helene with the flooding. We've had storms before with storm surge, and I've been to lots of training, lots of conferences. I've spoken to colleagues in the Panhandle that have experienced severe storms with storm surge. I've seen videos, and I thought I understood what storm surge would look like until Helene in Palmetto. And as long as even the old timers in Palmetto can remember, we haven't had flooding like that. I guess it was about 7, 8 o'clock when technically the storm had kind of passed us out in the Gulf and was traveling north. And we actually thought maybe the worst of it was over. So the officers began deploying, began checking our low-lying areas for flooding. And I was out there doing the same thing. I was actually in Jet Mobile Home Park, which is kind of the southeast corner of the city right on the river. And water was pretty high. And I'm thinking, this water is still coming in. I started hearing radio traffic. We had officers that were actually at the Green Bridge, Riverside Park. We all know where that is. And they were talking about having to move their vehicles because they were about to lose their vehicles. So responding to the radio traffic, I went over and looked at the Green Bridge. And I'm standing there at the base of the Green Bridge, and the Manatee River is completely washed over. Riverside Park, Veterans Park on the other side, it is completely inundated Riverside Drive, which is not uncommon in a storm event or a large rain event. We'll get water in Riverside Drive, but it was getting up towards the houses. 30 years service to the city of Palmetto, I've never seen that. Never seen anything close to that. When it was all said and done, we had completely lost the Green Bridge. Certainly our side of it, Bradenton had it blocked on the one side. It was impassable. We had vehicles floating in Riverside Park. The water actually came up to where we had nearly 2 feet of water as far north as 10th Street in Palmetto. Basically, everything south of 10th Street flooded. The majority of the homes, certainly on 4th Street, 5th Street, and even 6th Street, they flooded. And that was Helene. And then here we were a couple of weeks later, here comes Milton. And remember, as we're expecting Milton, the day it made landfall at night, obviously, but the day as we're watching the weather updates, that was about to hit us directly as a Cat 5 hurricane. We were all prepared for the worst. Now fortunately, Milton did some things that hurricanes atypically don't do that I think benefited our area. I know we had a direct landfall in Sarasota County. I know that there was a lot of devastation around, but I really have to say Palmetto didn't fare too badly. But of course, this was on top of what was already going on with Helene. This is on top of the homes that were already unlivable with Helene and the debris piles that we're still in the process of picking up. But we got through it. Our mobile home parks were badly affected, especially Jet Mobile Home Park on the river and Tropic Isles Mobile Home Park. But the interesting thing is we learn a lot from these storms too. Whether it's emergency management and emergency response, or whether it's building codes and things like that. And when I went into our mobile home parks, anything that was built, any of the mobiles that were put in and built post-Andrew, post-1992, they survived. And I attribute it to those building codes. Even actually fixed structures, concrete block structures that were older in the city, between Helene flooding and then Milton with the winds, they sustained damage. But any of the newer stuff did pretty well. So I'm happy to say it took us about a month, but we got the debris picked up. We had the citizen service. Now, don't get me wrong, we still have Palmetto residents that are still dealing with devastation, that still have uninhabitable homes. They're still navigating their own insurance, the hurdles of FEMA, and everything like that. But the community also came together in ways that I'm touched by and proud of. In Palmetto, everybody helps each other. It's one community. And as you know, Palmetto, we're a community of great diversity. We have many different languages spoken in Palmetto, and we have great extremes in wealth. Some of the poorest people in Manatee County are in Palmetto, and some of the wealthiest. And I always found it remarkable in my police career that these people seamlessly flow together. They all shop together in the same stores. Their kids all go to school together. And when this storm event happened, they all came together. And they're still coming together to serve needs. A lot of times needs we don't know, the police don't know, government doesn't know, FEMA doesn't know. You know, there's a lot of older people, a lot of very private people that share their needs with family and friends, and that's still going on today. So we couldn't have navigated this without the sense of community. And I think we can all agree throughout Manatee County that's what happened. A lot of lessons learned, I think, like Chief Tokajer, as Milton was approaching and as the potential for devastation was there, reached out through our emergency management and state mutual aid. I asked for over 50 officers to come in to the city of Palmetto. I especially asked that they be self-contained because we didn't know what kind of housing and resources that would have. And in many parts of the state that experience these events more than we do, they do have self-contained units. They bring everything with them. So we actually had several agencies from South Florida. We had Ocala come in for a day or so. We were able to stage them up in the old Palmetto Elementary School lot next to our new PD. They were able to live out of our new PD, and the new PD performed beautifully. But those officers coming in provided a couple of things. First of all, one of the things as emergency managers that we have to be concerned about in these events is we have to be able to give our people rest and the opportunity to go home and take care of their own family needs. And by having these mutual aid officers come in, we're able to get our people back to a normal schedule within 2 days. And I can't say enough for these officers from other parts of the state. They were great. They were kind. They were professional. They just did a fantastic job. And we're very, very grateful. And also, I got to give a lot of kudos, certainly not only to my law enforcement partners, but to Manatee County, because over the years, as we've experienced serious storm events, we've learned, and a lot of those lessons really help Palmetto at least get back on its feet quickly. From the traffic management, keeping those traffic signals up and running, to getting them up and running within hours of the storm passing, to the coordination through EOC. It really worked well. I hope we never have to go through it again. Prayers, thanks, I don't care, do a rain dance, whatever you got to do. 2025 is going to be a quiet year. But, and I'll close out with this, just a couple of things about Palmetto. Probably my significant hurdles, first of all, property crime was up, and I think we can all echo that, at least a couple of years ago. But thanks to all of you and my Palmetto residents, you're locking your doors, you're locking your cars, and property crime is falling back down again. Really, my public safety needs in Palmetto right now are, believe it or not, traffic. I was looking at some data, and back in 2022, we had 4 deaths in the course of a traffic crash, or, I think 2 of them were bicyclists that were hit by cars. In 2023, we had 3 deaths. In 2024, we had 0. So we're very grateful to that. A lot of it's engineering. A lot of it is just, reallocation of resources to the police department, more proactive policing. You might think, how does somebody die in a crash in Palmetto? Because the traffic's always gridlocked. You can't go more than 5 miles an hour, but believe me, they do. So we're working hard to address that. And I think the other thing that we're working hard to address is the continuing surge of homelessness in our county and certainly in the city of Palmetto. And it can sometimes be a difficult thing to police homelessness. You really don't. It's a very complex issue. There's a lot of reasons why people find themselves in those circumstances. And many times those people do not want resources that are available. For whatever reason, they want to live like that. So, our officers do a great job of trying to compassionately police and balance the needs of these individuals with the needs of the rest of the community. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chief Tyler. I'm in Palmetto, and you're right about the traffic. Next, we're going to have Chief Melanie Bevan, Bradenton Police Department. Please give her a round of applause as she comes.
Well, hello, everyone. As she said, Melanie Bevan, Bradenton Police Department. I represent Mayor Gene Brown and our 5 council people. Mayor Brown wanted me to give his regards for missing this event. He is up in Tallahassee trying to get money and resources from the state to help our community, particularly in light of a lot of the hurricane damage that we had. I'm not going to talk about the hurricane. I think you all got enough of all that, only to say that we truly, as a law enforcement body and as a community, came together. I do want to make sure that you all know that I walked here today. I did not drive my car. I did not back into a parking spot. And I tell you all that to say that in a community such as this, it's important that we do come together in these types of venues and we get to know each other and we get to know truth. We get to know fact versus fiction. And we all acutely understand the bad actors out there that try to paint our community and in this regard, even me, in a bad light. I always think it's important. And what attracted me to the city of Bradenton and what's kept me here for the 9 years with only 87 more days left, and I'll get into that in a second, is that we believe each other and we trust each other when we put our trust in people. And when we have certain media outlets that choose to just spin negativity in this world, it's really a shame because it doesn't give people a clear perception of what law enforcement's all about. And that's what you guys deserve. And I'll tell you from a chief's perspective, who's on her farewell tour, Xtavia told me I could have double the time today, but I won't take that. Who's on her farewell tour, that this has always been a highlight every year that I've come to this. Many of y'all know I announced in January that I'll be leaving, I'll be retiring. And what's kind of exciting today is that 5 people have applied for my job and 4 of them are sitting over here. And I think they're sitting over here to see, well, what does she talk about when she goes to these? The sheriff was like, why is so many of your staff here? I said, because this has been like a secret event and now they're going to try to figure out what I talk about. And so I say that to you all to let you know that regardless of what happens, you're going to be in great hands. The mayor has decided to somewhat go internally. And so whomever is chosen to take my place is somebody that you'll know, that you'll trust, and that will carry on any legacy within this city. And I think that's, again, what makes our city such a special place. Just in brief, and one of the young ladies in the back table reminded me of this to talk to you all about some of the highlights of our agency. I will tell you is the creation of our elder fraud unit. And a lot of y'all are shaking your head you haven't had the opportunity to hear my detectives come out and do an event within your facility or in your business. They're really killing it out there. We're not a large city, right? 57,000 people, 133 officers. I've got basically 2.5 people working in that unit. And to date, just this year, they've investigated almost $4 million worth of elder abuse crimes. The good news is they've recovered some of it. The bad news is most of it can't be recovered. But at the very least, what they're doing is educating people and warning people as to the perils of this. Long after I'm gone, the world, the U.S. is going to see that this is one of the biggest crimes that is plaguing our nation. You're starting to see it trickle in now, but even within our own community, it's wreaking havoc. There are people in this room who have lost thousands of dollars. There's people in this community that have lost millions of dollars. I have seen firsthand folks who have become homeless because of this. I'm so incredibly proud of my staff and my people who are working this. We have put this on the front burner. We're trying to do everything we can. We're applying for grants and resources, anything we can do to get out into the community to try to warn people. That's probably going to be one of the legacies I feel I'm most proud of, because I think it's really helping some of our most vulnerable citizens. I used to think it was kids. I'd get up here and I'd preach to you guys about kids and how that really needed to be the focus of what we're doing. I've shifted this year. Now it's our elders, because I think to a degree they've been forgotten a little bit. And by God, it's not going to be in the city of Bradenton. It's not going to be anything that our police department allows to happen. The other thing, which many of y'all probably can't appreciate as much as those of us with guns and badges, but we have opened our new training center out east in Myakka. This is a state-of-the-art facility. We are cohabitating, I guess you would say. This was a joint venture between us and the Manatee County School Board with the Manatee Technical College. Technical College, as you know, is who trains our future police officers for all of us. State-of-the-art, long gun range, short gun range, driving range, the first that we've ever had in this community, which predates me. We have never had a driving range in Manatee County. We're going to have a shoot house for simunition shooting, but it also serves as a de-escalation facility so that officers can get in there and learn firsthand through scenario-based training how to act, how to respond, and how to keep each other and our community safe. I really think that's going to be a game changer for many of us. We introduced this year 2 new canines. I know I got a little spoiled going to the Pirates games. We had a nice floppy-eared black lab. If any of y'all have been to the games, and probably all y'all have, you would see Maverick wandering around. People would feed him hot dogs. They'd pet his head. He was a sweet dog. Our new bomb dog, not so much. You can't get within about 30 feet of him, which has been a little bit of a problem at a baseball field. But regardless, it's been a welcome addition. We also introduced another drug dog. And all that to say is that our agency is full service. We may be small, but we can virtually do everything that the sheriff next door to us can. But I will tell you, anything we can't do on our own, he's always there to step in. Holmes Beach is always there to step in. Palmetto is always there to step in. We work incredibly, incredibly well together. I think the storm showed that. The resource sharing, the information sharing was incredible. There's never been a moment, and I wish he would ask me for more stuff, but I don't know. There's never been a moment where any of us have needed or wanted for anything, particularly when it comes to the safety of our community or the needs of our officers. Crime is down. So far this year, we're spiking a little bit with burglaries. I'm sure they could all tell you the same thing. The biggest issue is people are leaving their doors unlocked. And what are they taking out of those cars? They're taking guns. It is horrible, horrible to imagine. We just had a double shooting, as you know, actually a triple shooting, but a homicide over at Rossi Park. The gun used to kill that young man was a gun stolen out of somebody's vehicle. I still am amazed that people are not taking their guns and putting them somewhere safe because they're simply falling into the hands of people who don't know how to use them, shouldn't possess them, and are going to do something bad with them. So the big message for you all today is anybody who you can talk to who will listen to you, get these guns out of the cars. It was probably just by sheer luck that one of my officers who walked up literally 2 minutes after the shooting didn't fall victim to that gun, to gunfire as well. Other than that, things are looking bright. We have a new police department being built. NDC's here. I'm not sure why you're not out building my new police department. And you've been here about an hour now. And so I'm going to tell your boss that your lunch hour is running a little bit late here. But they've been incredible community partners. It's going to be a state-of-the-art facility that goes from now until probably 30 years into the future. Going to have everything that we need to grow and develop as an agency. But again, also as a community. I won't be there for occupancy. Again, one of these guys will, but I'm still designing it how I want to design it. So it's going to have floral curtains. It's going to have a nice plush carpet. And the bathroom in there is going to say women's. But anyway, if you all have any questions, I'll answer them later on, but thank you.
Please give her another round of applause. I was thinking when I went through the academy in 2003, the MTC, we used the back of the old Voltec. It was a little road where you had to wet it and we had to go through the little coast. Now they get state of the art. Boy, I tell you, stepping it up. So next we're going to end with not end, but he's going to be our last speaker before questions. We're going to have Sheriff Rick Wells with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office talk about his updates and what he has going on. Please give him a round of applause as he comes forward.
You better like people when you're sitting up here in these close quarters right here. It is tight up here on this stage. We had 4 accidents and a pulled quad up here already. I just want to say, thanks for having all of us here this afternoon. It's always a pleasure for me, and I know for the chiefs as well, when we can talk about our agencies and talk about what's going on crime-wise throughout this county. So the Sheriff's Office covers well over 741 square miles of territory from Anna Maria all the way out to Duet. So a lot of area. We have 3 districts: District East Side, West Side, and North Side. And as you can imagine, the growth that we are encountering now is primarily happening east of I-75 and north of the river. So that's where a lot of our new positions and our resources are being used to account for all of that growth going on in our county. Over the last 9 years, since I've been sheriff, crime is down 21%. And if you take into account the population, which is 450,000, 460, depends what day it is and who's here, we're down 39%. And that really is due to all the hard work that the men and women of the Manatee County Sheriff's Office do each and every day. All we do, starting very early in the morning, sometimes late at night, is talk about crime. How can we prevent crime? How are we going to solve the crime that's happening? And how do we put our deputies in the right positions to combat crime? So we have 3 COP units that are assigned to each district. They are not only community policing units, they're also burglary task force units. And I have 2 violent crime task forces that work on opposite rotations to handle the issues that we're having now with guns, with juveniles, and any violent crime that occurs in Manatee County. We also have a detective assigned to the FBI, the ATF, and DEA. to work on a federal partnership and why is that important? That brings those federal resources into Manatee County when we're trying to bring down big players. And when you're talking about big drug dealers or major crimes, we want to take them to the federal system because I want them to do their time. I don't want there to be an 80% rule. You're only going to do 80%. You're going to do your whole sentence. So we take a lot of big drug dealers and a lot of our big cases on the federal side. So that's been very beneficial to us. I know Mel talked about vehicle burglaries. Let me tell y'all something. We're down because we never quit talking about it. But it's something that we could do so much better at. We would be down over 50% right now in Manatee County if it wasn't for vehicle burglaries. A criminal needs just really three things to commit a crime. They need the ability, the desire, and the opportunity, right? Can't do too much about their ability or their desire, but we can limit the opportunities. And by just simply going into the house every night with everything that you do not want stolen out of your car and locking that door, it would save a lot of the issues that we have here in this county. And that's not an exaggeration. That is the gospel. And if you have two cars in your driveway, I'm going to give you a little tip. Don't leave the key fob in that car, especially if the other car is your wife's, that they can take out of your car and then get into your wife's car. We have that happening too. I don't know if y'all know this. This is not Mayberry. We can no longer leave our doors unlocked. We can no longer leave our guns in the car. We can't put the 22s on the back of that pickup like we did in the good old days. Those days are over. So we have to be aware of our surroundings and do our part to keep crime down because it will make a huge difference. You know, a couple of years ago, I had a deputy almost killed by a juvenile with a gun. That gun was stolen from a vehicle the night before in the same area that we located him on that night. 2 days later, another juvenile with a stolen gun could have killed a maintenance worker at a construction site. And the only thing that saved that worker was the fact that that kid did not know how to properly operate the gun, and it jammed on him. So there's a lot that you may not know that you do not see that goes on with just a simple, hey, I forgot to lock my car. So we're going to continue to drive that point home. We're doing very well in every aspect except for traffic. And traffic, I can say, respectfully sucks. And we do everything that we can to combat that issue. The sheriff's office is really working to beef up their traffic unit because the Florida Highway Patrol is so understaffed. They are not able to perform the duties that they are here to do. And I mean, God bless those troopers. I was one, I love them, but they're just going from crash to crash to crash. So we are adding traffic personnel to our units. We just added 4 more this week to try to handle some of those crashes because I can't have a citizen waiting 4 hours for a trooper to respond to a traffic crash. It just doesn't cut it. So we're working as much as we can to increase that staffing as well. We've got over 500 certified deputies that work the road every day. We've got 800 that work in all the different units throughout the county. And we'll continue to grow because the county has grown so rapidly. So that's what we'll do. We'll continue to work with the county commissioners and do what's necessary we're a major city in regards to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. I'm considered a major sheriff's office because of the population. 5 years ago, that wasn't the case. Now, what do I get for that? Nothing, like another conference, right? There's nothing, but it puts you in a different category. So, and I want to say this before I go. Here today is Christine Olson from TIF's initiative. Has anyone in this room ever heard about emergency contact information on your driver's license? Do you know? A raise of hands. If you do you have your emergency contact information on your driver's license? If you don't, you need to, right? So in case of an emergency, when you can't respond to an officer or a paramedic and you're in trouble, and you can't tell them who your family members are, we can pull that up in a matter of seconds and notify your contact that you're being taken to the hospital, it's an emergency, whatever the case is. Christine started this, y'all, because of a tragedy that happened right here in Manatee County when her daughter was killed in a traffic crash. And it took law enforcement, how many hours, Christine?
6.5.
6.5 hours.
She was 15 minutes away.
So those 6.5 hours that Christine could have been with Tiff, she could have said her goodbyes. That didn't happen. We are begging everyone to make sure that you tell your family members and your neighbors and anyone that you can tell to please sign up for ECI. We've got how many in the state of Florida now, Tiff? Or Christine? We got
Over
20
21 million people are
21 million. This started with her and Senator Bill Galvano at the time. So if you don't think you can get a bill passed because you're a nobody, that's not the case. So
I was a server at the Rod and Reel Pier, and I got 3 states on board by serving a grouper sandwich.
That's right.
So everything is pretty.
that's right. And we're all right. Good job. So I'll leave it with that. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much. Please give them a round of applause. I think all of our agencies in the last few years have made national news. I wanted to ask Wells about all those drugs he collected. Or I wanted to find out like the impact on, you got it? You ready?
I can't. Wales can't hear
What about now?
Here we go. We got it.
Okay. I wanted you to talk a little bit about the insight and the impact that helps with the safety with Manatee, along with all the drugs that you all were able to find in the community.
Yeah, so we, this started off of a tip of a drug house. Like many of our tips, comes from the community. We had to work that tip and get someone in there that could buy from this location. We had several buys of fentanyl, and we knew that they were big players in Manatee County and throughout Tampa Bay. We didn't know how big until we got in there and got the search warrant signed and did that search. 6,600, I think it was.
Most ever in Manatee.
It was the most ever, but I would tell you that we saved lives that would have affected Manatee, Sarasota, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Pasco, and probably beyond. So you're talking about like 60 million people that could die from these 12 kilos of fentanyl that were taken from this home. That is the largest we've ever had. And that's a lot, and that's deadly. And now you can say what you want, border, no border, where, politically, we understand that the border's been unsecured, but this comes out of China, and then it comes through Mexico, and then it makes its way into the U.S. So, overdoses, when I first started back in 2017, we had almost 1,000 overdoses in Manatee County in 1 year. That number has been drastically reduced, and we continue to educate on that as well, and we continue to get people the help that they need. We need more, facilities and rehab facilities, and but we were very happy to get that off the streets, and we know that lives were saved.
I knew it was an impact when I saw a couple of people on TikTok doing stitches to Manatee County. I was like, whoa, like this is a real impact. You were all over social media. You may not know it, but you were definitely on.
What does that mean?
What's a stitch?
Oh, a stitch. Never mind. I'll tell you later. I don't know where I'm doing with you. So this is the time for questions. To ask a question, our speakers, you must be a member of Manatee Tiger Bay Club. The microphone is right there. If anyone has a question, you can reference any of our panelists. Just, sure.
Y'all may have noticed my badge. A little different. Who knows what this is? You work at the
Isn't that
police
better?
department, it doesn't count. We're all wearing these. It's Autism Awareness Month. We actually, for the county, but more so for our city, brought in some folks and did citywide training for autism awareness. It's actually going to become a required component for our emerging young officers in the police academy. We were graciously given a grant to fund autism awareness, and we thought how better than to display the autism. This is the symbol. You find a lot of police departments and chiefs throughout the land who wear this, and it was just our way of trying to bring awareness and let you all know that our officers have been trained in this. If you've seen the statistics, it's alarming the number of autistic children that are out there every day. I think it's almost doubled from 20 years ago. And so that is why we're wearing these badges, and we'll wear them through the end of the month. And in fact, in May, you're going to see us wearing badges with black bands across them. It's because it's the month of May reflects Officer Memorial Week and month, and we pay tribute to officers that were killed in the line of duty. But I just wanted to point that out. Thanks.
Well, that was one of the questions regarding the training for our autistic community members. So thank you for shedding that light on that. Do we have any questions? Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Hi, my name is Betty Sales Rose. I have one for Chief Wells. Okay, that came back to us. Do y'all have a new cop show going on where you got about 4 SUV lights stopping people that is DBB in the neighborhood, shining that camera all in their face and nothing in there. And then when they get out the car, you got the camera in their face again, and they're not charged with anything. And we try, well, somebody's checking into it. It's illegal because they didn't sign anything to be on cop show. Are you just stopping people who are DBB,
What is DBB?
driving being black?
Oh, driving?
No, ma'am. The show cops have been riding with deputies for the last 3 weeks, like they've been doing for 40 years. Nobody's being stopped for anything unless there's probable cause. They go on every call that we're on, any traffic stop. So it's been going on for 40 years. So they cannot use the footage unless the person signs a waiver, and they won't. They won't use it. But we're not stopping anybody for driving while black.
Well, I got the email to me, so I'm using what they were saying because, you know for a fact I'm not biased saying anything.
Yes, ma'am.
But I just wanted to know that because I don't think it should be happening that you just at 1 second just stopping. Like a girl sent me some not too long ago. I got the thing, but she got stopped yesterday with the same camera in her face and everything. And they told her to go. But I just had to ask you that question. I tried to get in to see you, but they take you so much to get in, and so I have to catch you, where I catch you at.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So can you talk to Ms. Betty Rose after? Does you have any additional questions regarding that?
Sure can.
I appreciate
All
it.
right, I have one more for Chief Belvin.
She had to pay
Okay.
$35 to talk.
Okay, the only thing I had to ask you, you said 4 guys here, young men's here, I put it at that is gonna run for your position. I put
Apply.
in for it. 5?
Apply.
Apply for your position. And I'm trying to see, I see a commissioner here. Did he apply for your position too?
Actually, there's 5 applicants from what I understand. I'm not involved in the search. The mayor has developed a search with criteria and has assistants over there. I'm just aware that, yes, 4 of them are right over here. So they've all thrown their name in the hat. And you're right, there is a
Wave at her, please. No, Mr. Chair.
there is a council person here, but I will remind you that he's also a retired assistant chief of police who served for 30 years, I think.
Yes, he did.
We have a lot of years and a lot of talent at this table, and I know there's one external candidate as well. And that's about all I know when it comes to the search. There you go. Okay.
Thank you. So, do we have any other questions? Yes, if you can either bring it to her, if they don't, that's fine. Thank you so much, Jane.
My name is Janet Tretow. And before I go on, I'm not, it's not a big question, and it may seem silly, but when you have a big case and you get all that drugs and all, what do you do with it? You know?
Yeah, all the drugs goes into our evidence room for the entire process, the judicial process, until that case is finalized. And then we have to keep that there for any appeals, anything else going on. Bottom line, whenever that time comes, that evidence, those narcotics will be destroyed.
You burn them?
No, it's in an incinerator.
Oh, it's in an incinerator. It's
Not
just
burn 'em.
curiosity,
Yeah.
because I can barely get my garbage out some days, you know, that kind of.
Yeah.
And,
You don't want any of this mess.
well, you never know.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
You know, I might
Yeah.
have better questions.
Yeah. This stuff here will make you go night night. Yeah.
So, if we don't, thank you so much for your question. There's no silly questions. I do want to end the meeting, starting with Tokajer. If you could state any misconceptions that people may have about law enforcement, how you handle things, and maybe how to get to you if they do have any concerns as we end the meeting, please.
I'm very accessible. Probably everybody in this room either has my personal cell phone or knows somebody that does. So you could easily reach out to me. Just know that we're out there to help. We're not just arresting people, but we're out there to help. And through the storm season, I think that you saw that. Even though, you know, a lot of the agencies were not mine, a lot of the officers were not mine that were on my island. They were out there delivering water and meals to the people, the residents that are out there. They were using our four-wheelers and getting around and giving water and meals to people just because that's what was needed. So we do whatever is needed, not just arrest people. That's just one of the things we do, but we have a lot of other hats that we wear every day.
Thank you. Chief Tyler?
I'd echo that. We're all very accessible. We all have mechanisms where if you have a complaint, concern, even just a question, we take those and we respond. And you know, I think if there's social media is a great thing, but social media is also a curse. The lies, the exaggerations that are put up and posted up, and then taken by hundreds more people that maybe don't even live in this area and spread as truth. It's something that we have to deal with every day.
Thank you. Chief Bevan?
Misconceptions. So 39 years ago, when I started this profession, if you would have asked even my academy class, how many of you, well, we were young then, but how many of y'all would recommend this job to a child? Probably 80% of us would have raised our hand. If you ask us all up here today, how many of us would recommend this job to a child? Most law enforcement professionals over the age of 40 wouldn't. Why? Used to be, all we had to do was fight crime. That's why we got into this job. Crime fighters, helping our community, helping kids. Nowadays, with misperceptions, misconceptions, what Scott just mentioned, it's taken on this whole new role. We're outfitting these kids with guns and badges and giving them training. But unfortunately, we still live in this United States who has these ideas about policing, and it's kind of sad, you know. One of the reasons I'm hanging up this badge, and I have the very distinct honor, although it's not really what I wanted them to do, is that I'm going to be pinning a badge on my son in about 6 weeks. And so he's following in my footsteps. And I said, buddy, I just can't live vicariously. I just can't have both of us doing this. I got to put all my focus and energy into keeping you safe out there. And it's a shame that my speeches to him are not about fighting crime. It's about, look, you gotta worry about perception. You got to worry about what you say. And even if you feel it, if somebody misconstrues something you do, it's, you know, it can be career ending for you. And it's just kind of a shame that this profession has evolved into that, when truly it should be up here on a pinnacle. It should be way up here. And I think I go back to how I started this. I think in this community it is. And we are blessed for that. We are blessed for all you guys. But so many other places, it's just not like that. So
I'm going to just stay on that same theme. Social media to me is the devil. It started out good, but social media is nothing more than a lie being spread throughout the entire world. And we see that all the time. So I would just ask people to be just like Miss Betty Lou here, and you call somebody. Call somebody. If you want the truth, then call us. If you want to believe a 14-year-old on a bicycle drinking cranberry juice on camera, then believe them. But we'll tell you the truth. And that's what I can't stand. I have a lot of redneck in me. And I'm not, we get mad. People get mad, right? But I can't stand lies being spread, and then people come to me and ask me, why we did something. Well, we didn't do anything. That's a lie. So I would say, if you want information, go to the right source. That's what we do. And I think that social media just has really made our job a lot tougher.
We have one more question. Go ahead, John.
My name is John Colon. I'm a member of Tiger Bay Board. First of all, I want to thank all of you for your service, because over the last 25 years, I've seen your jobs turn into politics rather than crime fighting. And that's unfortunate, which goes right along with your theme, Sheriff Wells. I want to personally thank the chief doctor, because she's gone through a lot, being one of the first women running a major police department in this area. And she's done very well at it, at least in my opinion and the opinion of a lot of people. I want to thank you for bringing up the autism issue, because a lot of people don't know this, but I will tell you that the license plates you see driving around Florida with the autism symbol on it were done by somebody who didn't really want people to know he was behind it, and that was Dr. Gary, 1-800-ASK-GARY. He personally got Governor Scott to jump on that, and he beat him incessantly about it till he did it. And I want to applaud him for that, because autism is something I don't think there's anybody in this room that doesn't know someone or know a child that has autism. And we need to keep that in the forefront, because there's no reason for all these kids to be developing autism so young. And every chief up there, once again, thank you. Thanks for the work you do. Thanks for showing up every day. And thanks for being on top of us and protecting us here in Manatee County. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. As we come to an end to the program, I do want to tell you have about, I think, over about 120 years of experience over here, maybe more, about 130. They don't look like it. But I've had an opportunity to work with Tokajer and Sheriff Wells a long, long time, about 20 years. And then I've also had an opportunity to work with Chief Tyler the last 10 years and also Chief Bevan. And I applaud that you always answer, whether I'm asking you to shut down the bridge or escort me somewhere or just come and talk to the community and those hard conversations. And we always don't get applauded for having the hard conversations, but they also need to be had. But I also know each of you that sit here up here, you're not afraid to have those conversations. And I thank you for that. And Chief Bevan, I apologize, but I'm going to ask you to stand so we can applaud you because this is the last time I'm going to be able to do this. Thank you so much for your service, all your time, all your sweats, your tears that we haven't seen. And I commend you. And if anybody knows, you know she likes, is it Wonder Woman? That's Wonder Woman.
My staff surprised me yesterday and created a personalized coin. It says on the back, it's got my badge and my number on the back. It's got great power, great responsibility. I say that all the time. And it's got Wonder Woman.
That's her Wonder Woman. So I want to thank you all for attending our luncheon today. I want to thank everyone for the panel. I want to thank TLC embellishing our caterers. I also want to thank METV and ABC 7 News that came in. I appreciate you so much. Next month, we are tackling a great panel with immigration. So we've contacted, we want to make sure it's a panel where you're going to be getting some great information. And so we've called in some immigration attorneys. We invited ICE. I didn't want to invite Sheriff Wells back again, but I know, but his name did come up. But we have a great, great panel set for you next month. And then you'll be receiving the rest of our panels for the rest of the month. But thank you so much for attending Tiger Bay. Please have a great day.